You're listening to the Board Game Snobs podcast, a ridiculous podcast with ridiculous hosts that discuss ridiculous things. And any mention of board games is purely coincidental. And so, without further ado, and with a heavy dollop of shame and embarrassment on my part, I give you the Board Game Snobs.
And go.
And welcome.
And we're here at the Board Game
Enrique
Snobs.
chiming in real fast.
Welcome.
Did you
Oh,
know?
Enrique doing the intro. Okay. And go, Enrique.
Hey, did you notice I didn't interrupt him?
Go, Enrique.
How's
Go.
that feeling, Enrique?
Enrique, go.
It feels good, I guess, for a little bit.
Because
Well,
I don't
continue.
interrupt you. I don't
Continue.
interrupt you. And I don't interrupt you. Gabi, however, can't stand.
Continue with your intro. Go.
I think I finished the intro, and we're just like
well,
going
no, okay.
into
Well,
it now.
let's do it fresh. And go, Enrique.
Fresh.
Enrique, don't make him force you to do
I
something.
know. Like, I already did it, and I thought it was all right.
You did a great
All
job.
you did was say "and welcome." That's not an intro.
It like
I did
welcome.
it
That's a greeting.
Welcome
I did
to
it.
Enrique.
That's a salutation.
Stand up to this. Just what is your problem? This is why
I don't have to be grand
I'm
about
Gabi. That's Enrique. Over there is Jerry. We're going to talk
He's
to
so
you about
aggressive today.
a card
What's
game,
wrong with
a
him?
super light card game that was really fun that we cleansed our final palettes with.
Final palette.
Final palette.
the dessert.
Finish him.
It's like when you work at Walmart and you're just trying to get through unloading the trucks all day and you got final palette.
It's like when your mother tells you, finish your palette.
Or when, who's the guy that painted all the stuff with the fro hair?
Bob Ross.
Bob Ross is like, he's used all his paints on his little palette there and final palette.
That's not.
And he's put some happy little trees over there. Some cold little mountains over, some fuzzy little cotton clouds over here.
Did you have a pun
A pun?
or something where you're going with this? Oh, you've lost me on the Bob Ross.
No, just the palettes. You use a palette when you paint.
and there's one palette.
And you're using the,
So it's not a
the
final palette.
Fano blue.
It's the one. I understand it, but
and
there's
the-
not multiple
the
palettes.
maroon red.
But there's not multiple palettes.
He has multiple palettes
No,
when
he
paints.
doesn't. He has one palette.
And he takes that brush and he
Enrique,
slaps it
it's
against the
obviously
easel.
He doesn't know what he's doing.
Did you know? Okay, you remember Twister, the original Twister,
Oh, okay.
not Twisters.
There is
Twister.
there is only one Twister.
Remember Twister?
There is no original Twister. There is the Twister, and then there's
The Twister.
Twisters.
Okay, you remember main guy, our man Bill, came over, Paxton,
Yeah.
right? You remember his ex-wife, or actually it was his fiancée.
Yeah,
He was going to marry her. His ex-wife was Helen Hunt,
yeah.
Jami Gertz.
Mad about her.
Jami Gertz. You know what her net worth is?
Jami Gertz,
Jami Gertz.
the fiance.
Yeah,
That
that lady.
Yeah, I see her.
I mean, I can't remember the last movie she was in.
Why are you looking up her net worth?
Because when I was found it out, when Twisters came out,
You found out plural.
I was wondering, like, okay, obviously Bill Paxton can't make an appearance because A, R.I.P. And then B, Helen Hunt wasn't in there. Like, I thought, the girl's mama might be Helen Hunt. She wasn't. So I was like, well, maybe Jami Gertz. No, Jami Gertz not in there.
Nobody knew this person's name until you just said
Jami
them.
Gertz was an 80s person.
Was she?
I think she was in Quicksilver, like a bike movie from the 80s. Anyway, she made a couple movies, a couple TV shows. She hasn't been a hit as an actress. Like, she's not like,
Yeah.
super popular. Her net worth is $8 billion.
Okay.
$8 billion.
Okay.
And I was over here kind of feeling sorry for her because, like, oh man, she really didn't act a whole lot. And, the movie industry can chew you up and spit you out. I thought maybe she got done wrong. $8 billion. However, she made this money. She's an American actress, sports team owner, and philanthropist with a staggering net worth of $8 billion. Like, she's better off.
Wait a minute. Billion. You kept first couple times I thought you said million.
I said it several times with a B. Billion.
He said it like 3 times.
So what are you shocked by this?
Name another actress that's worth $8 billion.
She's not an actress.
She was originally.
She does not get $8 billion from acting.
No crap, Sherlock. That's my point. But name another.
It's not your point.
Name another 80s anybody from the entertainment industry that has spun their life to a degree where they're worth billions.
She's not, but she's not getting it from acting.
That's not my point.
What is your point?
I did not expect her to be. I was concerned about her welfare because she made a couple of big hit movies in the 80s, and generally those people are worth, maybe they're worth $5 million now. They're barely making it on the streets of Beverly Hills. She's worth $8 billion because she went from acting. She's sports team owner. She's had a successful career from owning the Atlanta Hawks. She co-owns the NBA team, the Atlanta Hawks. She's a minority stakeholder in the Milwaukee Brewers.
So where'd she get her money? Who'd she marry? No, where'd she get her money?
Wow.
Where'd she get her money?
Wow.
Where did she get her money?
She got married.
Thank you.
Well, but when she got married, she was the one making more money. She funded their early vacations and bought their first home in Los Angeles. At the time of their wedding, Tony was working at Drexel Burnham Lambert, blah, 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 blah. But yeah, together, her and her husband have made some wise investments and are worth $8 billion.
Okay.
I mean, freaking Madonna, an icon of the 80s, still trying to be in the zeitgeist, very poorly, might I add. She's not worth $8 billion.
No, she's
I can't name any, like, that's a hard thing to do, is to turn from, I can't name anybody. I mean, Tom Cruise, I think he's pretty close, if not a billionaire.
He's not a billionaire.
He's several hundred millionaire. But I mean, he's been a successful actor for decades.
You're driving me insane.
But no, I'm not, because I'm saying, yes, she's taken an alternative route to making this money. But I'm just very impressed that not very impressed. Well, yeah, because a lot of people that are actors from the 80s, I mean, you don't even hear from them now, but she's been very successful. I'm reading about her right now.
You don't hear from her now. She's not in any movies, right?
No.
What is your point about this? You're acting, the way that you're framing this is like she's an actress who's made this money.
The way I'm framing this is, take a person that you've heard of from the 80s and you never hear from again. You don't expect them to be worth $8 billion all of a sudden. Because they're probably either just fried out of the movie industry and failed to turn their money into anything else.
She didn't turn her money into anything else.
Yes, she did.
No, she didn't.
She did.
She married the guy who co-founded a financial company.
But then they made investments. It said she had the money when they first married.
Either way, she married a guy who founded
It's got to be the guy, huh?
No, I'm just saying.
It's got to be the guy.
Okay, Tyler Perry's worth $1 billion. Okay, there's somebody who's worth $1 billion.
But he's mass producing and has a production team and a studio and all this stuff.
Okay. So you mean to
But he's not from the 80s.
So this has to be someone from the 80s? Is that your only thing?
Why do you always just got to argue against me?
Your point was like she's an actress who was
It'd be like saying Emilio Estevez, how much you think he's worth? Nothing. Because he's done nothing with himself. This lady, Jami Gertz.
Okay.
Has made something of herself. She's happy and wealthy. I don't know if she's happy.
She married somebody who started a financial company. Jerry Seinfeld. There's somebody from the 80s.
Okay.
$1 billion.
Well, she's got 8.
She didn't get it acting. Didn't get it from Hollywood.
Neither did he.
Yes, he did.
He got it from syndication.
Yes, he got it from in the industry.
I'm proud of her.
Yes, congratulations for her. But the whole point of this thing is not that she was an actress
Says Jami Gertz has amassed a staggering net worth, largely due to her marriage to billionaire investor Tony Rissler.
Yes, I don't understand your point. You keep going on like she's done.
Well, you know, I'm just saying a lot of people from the 80s have spent most of their money on drugs and alcohol.
She married she married a billionaire.
She made it out of there.
She married a billionaire.
Well,
Good for her.
I think she did some stuff too.
She married a billionaire. Good for her.
So narrow-minded.
No, I'm not narrow-minded. I'm just very specific with what it is.
It's her partnership with Tony that has propelled her wealth. This is according to finance-monthly.com.
I don't know why you look at these financial stuff anyways.
I
because
don't
it's
know.
all conjecture anyways.
No, I understand that. Like, nobody understands what this net worth really is, and they just kind of guess at it. But I like looking at people's net worth. How much do you think Tom Cruise is worth?
He's worth $450 million.
You just looked it up?
No, I'm guessing.
I'm going to guess Tom is worth...
He's worth $500 million.
I'm going to guess he's worth $700 million.
He's worth $500 million.
Enrique?
I wouldn't know.
I'm not saying you know. It's a guessing game.
I don't know.
570. Too late. I already put it out there.
Wow, I was almost on the money.
That's pretty good.
You have billions.
From straight movies.
But he also production companies and stuff like that.
Yeah, but that's almost more impressive just being straight from acting and production, because
It's Tom Cruise.
I don't know that people are investing in Tom Cruise.
What do you mean?
Because he went crazy there for a while. And
People are
He's always
completely-
crazy.
Tom
ain't he?
Cruise? Are you insane? Tom Cruise is consistently gold. Except for
I agree.
a very few missteps. But yeah. People are investing in Tom Cruise. I'd invest in Tom Cruise. He's 80 years old. This guy's going to be...
Is he 80?
He's 60, but he's going to be rocking. I mean, I would still be betting on him if he's 80.
Jesus.
Madonna's net worth. I don't really know.
Who cares about Madonna?
No one knows about
But she was an absolute icon of the 80s.
So why are we focused on like these people from the 80s? Is it
It's a game. What do you think her net worth is?
Madonna? Mm-hmm. See Prince. She's $300 million.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
250.
Because Prince was $300 million, his estate and everything.
I was thinking right around 300. Madonna's net worth, $850 million.
Let's see. And that's Madonna.
That's about where it should be for Madonna. Poor Madonna.
I don't really think so. Madonna, unless she's just doing a lot of tours and everything. Madonna hadn't done.
That's what it says according to Wikipedia.
I know. I don't care what it is. I'm just saying I don't know in terms of what she's been doing. I think she's probably investing stuff.
I think it's fascinating. These people, not fascinating. That's not the right word by any means.
I
but
use fascinating a lot.
like Rihanna, she's a billionaire
Yeah.
for makeup.
Yeah, they invested.
She took her money
Yeah.
and started a makeup line. Now, the Jenner girl really irritates me because she was into money, but she made herself a billionaire. Meanwhile, Kim Kardashian, who, was the original one to get famous, not counting the daddy, Caitlyn. Well, okay, I don't want to use the other name, I guess. But, the Olympian. Like, she comes from a super rich family.
Uh-huh.
Had the initial fame, but then her sister started a makeup line or something, and she's the billionaire. Makeup's where it's at, guys. We need to start a makeup line.
Well, I'm sure she doesn't care.
We need to start a makeup line.
Maybe it's Maybelline. Maybe.
Why must you do this to me?
I'm just saying, I don't understand your obsession with people's net worth on these actors. Like,
It's not an obsession. I just find it interesting to look at.
I don't find it
I
interesting.
like looking at the numbers.
I don't like it at all because, number one, you don't know that it's factual. And number two, it does absolutely nothing. Like, it is conjecture.
It's a topic of conversation. We've filled the last 13 minutes
I don't
with it.
find I don't find that.
I don't
as a
ask
top,
that you find it interesting.
No, I
I just brought it up.
I don't find it truthful.
Truthful?
Yeah,
Close
you don't
enough.
know. You don't know that it's true.
We don't know anything.
Yes, you do.
We don't.
Yes, you do.
We don't. Not unless it's
You
science.
think, therefore, you are. Yes, you do know certain things. There are certain things that are just evidently true. The fact is that this is just conjecture from somebody who's reporting. It's just a random website.
Wesley Crusher not doing so good.
You don't know about that.
I don't think he is.
You don't know that.
Poor guy.
But you don't know that. Wesley could be killing it.
I don't think he has. He's not killing it.
Wesley's doing fine.
He's showing up and signing headshots.
Wesley's doing
Sounds
fine.
fine.
I mean, yeah, he's doing fine, but he's no billionaire. He's no Jami Gertz.
He doesn't need.
Who needs to be a billionaire?
He's no Jami Gertz.
Jami Gertz is not Jami Gertz.
She is Jami Gertz.
Jami Gertz is married to somebody. Maybe if Wesley married somebody. Wesley is married.
He married Anne, I think is her
He
name.
married, yeah. And so he didn't marry a billionaire. He didn't need to. He getting that headshot money.
What would you do with $1 billion?
Wouldn't do anything with it.
I would. I would spend it.
I wouldn't spend
You
it.
can't spend $1 billion.
You definitely can.
You
No,
just
you cannot. Name $1 billion, a billionaire that went broke and is on the streets.
Do you see what he just did there? And you realize why I go into a complete apoplectic mess when he says, I would spend it, and then immediately goes, you can't spend $1 billion. This is why my mind stays fried, because you have somebody who goes, this is true, but how can you know anything is true? The contradictions from him drive me insane.
Oh, yeah. King of the contradictions over there.
Yes. So, yes.
How can you spend $1 billion? I mean, yeah, you can spend it, but this is going to take a lot.
No.
And it's going to take a long
Brewster's
time.
Millions proved that.
Millions, not billions.
That was in the 60s, wasn't it? Inflation.
The 80s.
I can prove it. Brewster's whatever. Yeah, you can do inflation.
Brewster's billions. They would have to make it billions now
You could spend
due
it.
to inflation.
And property and stuff like that instantly. You could go
Not
through a bit.
instantly.
You could go
$1 billion
Yes.
is a lot of money.
buy several yachts. Buy DiCaprio's
A
yachts.
yacht is $20 million.
Yeah, DiCaprio's $40 million. You can surely that would be inflated to like
How many
100 million.
yachts you going to buy?
Buy at least two, one for
Being
each.
reasonable
each
here.
ocean,
Let's
each
be
side.
reasonable.
I buy two
in
yachts.
This
One on
discussion
the,
of how much can you
one on
spend
the-
$1 billion.
I would buy. Yeah, I could buy.
Put a
several.
yacht in each ocean.
Yeah, there you go. There's 7. See,
7 times 20. Let's see, that's
I know,
$140 million.
$40 million.
So now we've only got 860 left.
Yeah, so you got it. I mean, you could go through $1 billion.
860, yeah, that's better.
Then you have to also consider that you're not looking at the maintenance and the crew of each one of those that you're going to have to pay for the foreseeable future.
Oh, you write all that stuff off.
No, you don't write. You have to pay them. You don't know.
You grease the pockets of the lobbyists and politicians, and you don't have to pay nothing. Just look at all the rich
See,
people.
this is why I do not like talking to you at all about anything, because you go super serious, and then you go, well, whatever. You just say words, which you last episode.
I'm not saying words.
Yes, you went on about just people saying words.
I mean, we are saying words.
But you-
without words, there's no language.
But yet you just said, I'm not saying words, and then I am saying words. See? Enrique, this is why I can't speak with this man.
How much does a yacht cost, Enrique?
Nobody cares. Here.
How
I know
much?
it can
Yeah.
Average cost of a yacht. I just need to know. According to networth.com, the average cost of a yacht is average cost
I swear, if it's like $300 million,
of a yatchet.
Nobody
I
cares.
haven't got that though.
How much? Guess.
100 million.
Yeah, it's right about there. Well, this gives a wide 100,000 to over 600 million.
So there
See,
you go.
that's like
What yacht costs 600 million?
The one that they had to move the bridge for Bezos.
man.
Did
That's
you not see that a couple years back? Okay, see, because you don't watch world events because you're too busy looking
Oh,
at.
I don't watch the One World event you're talking about. Yeah, you didn't know why I was discussing Jami Gertz because it's
Because
the thing.
nobody knows who Jami Gertz is and nobody cares.
How
Who is
dare you?
Jami
Mega yachts, 165 feet and longer, with no average cost, but a current going price of 600 million. You can get a pre-owned yacht for 100,000.
I still want that $6 million yacht though.
600.
600, whatever.
Dang! So I spent almost more than half of my billion on the one
See,
yacht.
you thought it was impossible to spend.
But again, it's all like I don't care about any of that mess. I do not find that interesting at all. It's just
Thanks for shutting down every aspect. It's great playing. It's great having a podcast. Somebody's like, no, what? No way, no, stop it, no.
yes. It's not
Really lends
interesting.
to the smoothness of the show.
It's not interesting knowing about some random 80s person's
All right,
net
then
worth.
go with whatever you got to talk about.
Enrique.
Let me shut everything. Let me shut everything you say down the whole step of the way.
Who's the most famous gang?
Apple Dumpling.
I thought that myself.
What? I'm sorry. Is that a game?
You don't know who the Apple Dumpling gang is?
No.
Little
Is that an
Rascals?
actual game?
The Little Rascals.
You never heard
Oh,
Tom Conway?
Okay.
The Blood and the Crips are one of the most largest.
Yeah, they're like...
Then you have the Hells Angels.
Yep.
Have you heard of
Hell's Angels, I would have to say, is up there.
the largest Hispanic gang
The Jets and the Sharks.
in Central California, the Fresno Bulldogs?
That's awesome.
Don't know them. Two gangs that apparently, please, if you're from United Kingdom, wherever that's at, send us an email, boardgamesnobs@gmail.com. A violent feud between these two gangs in the United Kingdom was resolved in a truce in 2010. Their names, Burger Bar Boys and Johnson Crew. I want to know, are you a Burger Barn boy or are you on the Johnson Crew?
You know I'm a Johnson Crew, man.
The MS-13.
I'm a burger bar guy, I think.
Johnson Crew?
I like a burger.
Shout out to the Yakuza. Probably something we should have mentioned in the last episode.
The Yakuza's a pretty big gang.
I don't know.
But that's not a gang. That's like an organization.
Well, at what point does a gang become an organization? That's like asking when does a house become a home? It's like, at what point do you go like, we're just a gang, but then we're like, no, we're actually more
Like
organized.
the mafia is not a gang.
I think by definition, which I know nobody likes my definitions of anything, but I think a gang technically, I don't know what makes it different. I would say a gang is a organized group.
So the mafia would be a gang.
Yeah. But I think technically it's like a smaller number of people than an actual, anyways. But yeah.
Who was dadgummit?
A gang is considered organized.
Who was Jesse James with?
He's Jesse James gang. When it develops a clear leadership structure, defined roles for members, codes, and so forth.
There was somebody like something Riders, I feel like.
No, you're thinking of the I know who you're talking about, but Jesse James was
It's just the Jesse James gang?
yeah, Jesse James was just
Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid? They didn't have a gang?
the James Younger gang.
James Younger gang.
That's what it
Okay.
was. I'm
So that's still not the one I was thinking of, though. There's who was the Wild Bunch movie made about?
The Young Guns?
No, the Wild
the Wild
Bunch.
Bunch was
It's like speaking of the 80s.
the Wild Bunch gang, Butch Cassidy's Wild Bunch. Apparently, it was the Doolin Dalton gang was the Wild Bunch in the Indian Territory, 19th century, early 20th. They were, or I like this one. You ready for it? The Oklahombres.
That's pretty good.
That's fire.
Oklahoma.
As an Okie,
That's clever.
I approve of that. Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid popularized the Wild Bunch gang. Blah 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 blah.
I feel like gangs were more glorified when you're a kid growing up and you watch these Western shows and you're like, that seems neat. But then you come to realize that they were all like, killed in horrendous ways eventually. And
Yeah, like gangs that was like a thing that I just assumed at some point in time I would be someone would try to recruit me in because DARE was a big thing too, and I thought people were going to be offering free drugs, and I have neither been ever offered free drugs, nor have I ever been offered to be recruited into a gang.
I was only offered drugs once I graduated high school.
I wear a lot of khakis, and I tuck my shirts in.
The khaki gang.
Perhaps people just don't think that would not make me streetwise, or as they say on the street, hard. Fun fact, I am very hard. I am street smart and would be a valuable member to any
What
gang.
have you joined?
But
You worked at Best Buy.
I have a 401k.
Joined the Geek Squad.
that's a squad.
Squad's the same thing as a gang.
No, it's not.
You don't think so?
I know so.
You know so.
Through the structural organization of the hierarchy of the military, a squad is not a gang. Depending on what unit that you're in,
The G.
well, it is not a gang. A geek squad. A squad is completely different.
According to vocabulary.com, a squad is a group, gang, or team often made up of soldiers or police officers, but any gang will do.
That's not a reputable source. A squad and a gang a squad is not
Merriam-Webster, a small organized group of military personnel, a small group engaged in a common effort or occupation.
right.
So it could be a gang.
No, because
A gang has a common effort.
they're not necessarily an occupation.
But it doesn't say. It says or
But
occupation.
a gang becomes organized when there's a defined leader, and there are squad leaders. By definition. Either way,
the cleaning squad.
Point being is that neither of these things I have been offered. And I just like to think that it's probably because of my...
I was offered. We went to, a friend of mine graduated high school. We went to Pensacola in 1997 to just have fun. But I was a straight arrow back then. And
it's something's changed now.
A guy came up. I didn't even drink back then.
You won't even fly on a plane.
But I'm talking about drinking and drugs. So I didn't even drink when I was...
Tylenol.
I was like 18, 19, 20. And a guy come up to us. We were just hanging out. And he said, hey, man, y'all want... It was literally, y'all want some weed? And we're like, no, thank you, sir.
I think he was trying to sell it to you, though.
Oh, he was.
He wasn't trying to give it to you.
That or he was an undercover cop.
He was trying to give it to you.
And I sniffed him out.
That dare dog. The dare
It's only
people.
if you're buying.
Yeah.
It's not. It doesn't count if it's gifted to you.
Yeah. Well, dare is like people will just
like
give
taxes.
you drugs.
It doesn't count against you.
They were like, that's what the dare people were always in school. Were like, the people will just try to give you drugs. I was like, who gives away stuff?
No, don't take it. Don't buy drugs. But if they give them to you, feel free to take them.
That's what they were warning against. Is there's people out there just giving stuff away.
Is this taxable, sir?
Yeah. Like what? It's like Costco. Like they're giving samples out. Like what? And nobody tried to recruit a gang.
I mean, am not still interested. I mean, I understand people take it for glaucoma, etc. But, alcohol is a drug. So.
Ooh, a squad is primarily positive, where a gang has particularly used in the
negative connotations. Gang.
But listen, a squad is primarily positive. So there's a distinctive thing.
So you could just say, we're a squad
that's positive.
That robs banks. We rob banks that we're pretty positive that we can get away from.
Well, it's primarily positive.
Primarily positive. Because everybody on Instagram, they posted with a group picture like squad.
Yeah.
They don't really post and say gang.
Yeah, expressing that
unit.
A specific group of people or familiars or mean something that
cohort.
You or even with your friends.
There's lots of gangs out there.
Group therapy. That's what we can get. We have squad therapy. We're gonna have some gang therapy.
You guys need some therapy.
I remember one time. That brought this to mind. But I remember watching a documentary on group of gang initiations, and it was, first off, I found to be quite unnaturally funny. The name for some of these initiations didn't make sense to me, but there was a particular initiation that was called picking up Benjamins.
Benjamins?
Benjamins.
Benjamins.
Benjamin.
Not Benjamins.
No, not previous Germans, but like Benjamin Franklin. Like the money.
Okay. So it sounded like you were saying Ben Germans.
No, not Low Germans. But in this initiation,
all them guys in Argentina, they've been Germans.
The
before.
way to initiate into the gang, they would have the initiate stand in a circle around the other gang members, and they would throw a handful of pennies onto the ground, and they had to pick said pennies up, while the rest of the AKA gang beat them relentlessly. And if they could not pick up the pennies in time, then they just got beaten to the brink.
See, that's gang activity, not squad activity.
That is gang activity. Squad activity.
Squad, they're like clapping for you. Can do it.
Yes.
Get them pennies.
Squad activity would be like, we threw a roll of quarters out into this parking lot, and if you keep what you collect, and we'll encourage you from afar. And when you get the quarters, then we're gonna go to the gas station.
I mean, you could almost. Al Capone was the leader of the Chicago Outfits.
The outfit,
singular.
Outfit, yes. There's not multiple outfits. She had one outfit.
Well, maybe he should have chosen more.
And he
with
was quite
all that
chubby.
syphilis coming out of him.
Syphilis stays in. That's the problem.
There's a gang that I thought it was like the MS-13 or something.
Yeah, those are the rough. Yeah, I
They
just
were
mentioned them.
real rough.
I just mentioned them a moment ago, but you weren't paying attention.
Yeah, there's a lot of gangs.
Yes.
Gangs scare me.
I don't really have any particular fear of gangs.
I mean, because, like you said, the initiation is like,
They're much harder to get into.
Well, I'm not worried about getting into it. I'm afraid of being a victim of.
What do you think they're going to...
Like, I might be the guy that's like, oh, hey, you go over here and hit this guy over the head and you'll get in our gang. And I'm the random goof that's walking down the street that gets hit in the head.
Bam!
But you don't walk down the street a lot. You stay in your home for the most part.
Well, that's why, because my squad's at my house.
I'm just saying.
Squad up.
I think, this is my personal opinion, please don't take this as gospel.
I don't.
We love
But I think the way to protect against gangs is by forming your own. I
believe that's the general concept. Therefore, the Bloods and the Crips.
Yes.
I don't know which one formed first, but I figure one of them formed.
Well, I'm just saying is that if you
opposites were like, hey,
I'm just saying to protect yourself.
don't quote me on this.
You should possibly.
I feel like the way to protect ourselves is to form our own gang,
which is why
to fight against their gang.
I hate to say this,
and then you end up with a nation.
That's how it starts. That's
and then it's politics.
That's exactly how it starts.
That's it.
It gets organized. I just
started with the Pilgrims.
It did with you buying T-shirts. If you buy merch and you wear said merch, which we have merch at that Sir Meeple place.
SirMeeple.com. Check it out.
And if you have that, we assume you're part of the squad. And so if we now know we can rely on you.
There is a gang called the Errol Flynns.
I'm sorry, what?
The Errol Flynns.
How do you join?
They were a criminal organization or street gang founded on the Lower East Side of Detroit during the 1970s. Reportedly, the gang appropriated their name from the Hollywood film star Errol Flynn, of course, because they fashioned themselves as flamboyant gangsters in dress.
I want
to be part of the Errol Flynns. I don't think they exist anymore, sadly.
And they're flamboyant.
That's what it said. They're flamboyant dress.
What was their enemies? The peaky blouses. That was a good. I had to dig for that.
That was a good one. Anyway, so the game, The Gang, which is a card game based on poker, a cooperative card game.
So first off, this game I played with some dear friends of mine at the Dice Tower Retreat.
How did they smell? Each one of them.
I played this with Schwering, Bruce, I believe.
The Bruce.
And several other people. I'll have to look up because
is Schweren.
But this game caused quite a stir. Because the first round we played, we understood the basic principle, which is very simple. 5 to 6 people, sometimes 3 to 6 people play this game where you're just playing Texas Hold'em. And the poker chips, instead of betting, you're taking the poker chips that are labeled like 1 through 6 to indicate how strong you think your hand is. And on the last round, you make a final decision and everybody shows their hand, and you want to go in order of the weakest hand to the strongest hand. That's the cooperative idea of it. So you're basically unable to speak to each other. You're looking at people's habits and facial gestures and everything and trying to figure out who has the worst hand and who has the best hand. And when we started this little charade, myself being a pretty decent poker player and understanding at least the math behind it, I did not know if everybody understood what was really a good hand and what was a bad hand. Not knowing that there was another player at the table who played quite a bit of poker and became quite frustrated over the fact that nobody else understood really how valuable or how unvaluable their hand was. And we basically had somebody who had a pair that thought they were the best. And then in the next hand, we had somebody who had like a full house that was unsure whether or not they should. That would mess it all up. After we got through that little debacle and everybody kind of figured out and we understood everybody's kind of habits, we got on a roll. And we were able to understand just by the people selecting the correct poker chip and the quietness of it and watching people, we got on a roll of figuring out and just understood, and we got quite good at it. That's the basic premise for the game. It sounds quite boring. As a matter of fact, you could play this game with really just a deck of cards and your own poker chips. But the actual game that comes with it is the idea of you're trying to do this so many times, and there's these little cards that you flip over that challenge you to make other certain guesses, such as guessing who the top player's hand actually is or what card might be in their hand and various other things. So this is one of these games that I liken to like The Mind. So when The Mind came out, everybody was going, that's not even really a game. It's kind of ignorant, and people were playing it wrong. And I actually kind of thought The Mind was an interesting little puzzle of being able to read people at the table. The Gang is basically a very mind-like game that has more of a game in it. And people who don't like poker even, I think, would enjoy this game. And so this was the third game that I brought back from the retreat. It's a Cosmos game by John Cooper and Kerry Heath. The cooperative poker game, some really interesting artwork and an interesting box, and something that I just thought, this might win. This might be something. And this was out of the three games, this is the game that I was most nervous about y'all liking. But still, I thought, you know what, this was just it's great at 5 or 6 players. We played it 3-player.
Which I don't think it was too exciting. I think if we had more players,
yes,
it'd be a lot more exciting.
But even at 3 with just us, I think y'all saw the idea behind it and how interesting this game can get. And so my whole takeaway for this is that if you're one of those players who really enjoyed The Mind or games kind of like that, this is a great idea. This is a great game for that, especially if you're that type of player.
I think it gives you more to work with as far as your guessing on who's got what. The Mind was just a game of reaction times, almost like if I have the 10, you have the 11, you're going to play it real quick. And almost like, but I like this one because there is slightly more deduction.
Correct.
In the hands played, if you're playing with people, obviously, that understand poker. So I liked this game. At 3, it was interesting. I wouldn't say it shines at 3. As Jerry said, at least a dozen times during this game, this was a lot more fun with 5. Because at 5, it almost seems like, how in the world could you possibly guess the amount of from least to best hand? Seems impossible, but it's not, clearly, because he said they had a pretty good success with it. But with 3 people, it's like, you have low, middle, and high, basically. But having, at a 6-player game, you got low, middle, and high. But then you have medium, high, low, medium. Like, I have one pair, like, I could see where that gets really intricate, and that would be interesting. I'd like to play it with more. I found it good. I didn't really care for the little add-on cards. It was like, hey, now you have to guess what card they
challenges?
have.
I love the challenges.
I didn't like the challenges. I just like the straight up guessing part of, do we have this set right? Do you have the lowest hand? Do I have the medium hand? Does Jerry have the high hand? And then we were correct and just move on.
Like, for me, just the base, that alone was just boring. But when the challenges came in, it was a lot more entertaining.
Well, I think they did that for a smaller group of people, which it worked. But just I like the mind aspect of it, just guessing what you had. And even this game is based on reaction time of people. If I have a pocket pair of kings on the first one, I want to snatch that 3 real quick. And then if another king doesn't come out on the river, I'm going to be much more, slow. So it is, you can deduce. I liked it a lot. Wasn't the best of the night because we aren't a party of 6, which I think this is made for. Probably, I would say 4 and 5 would be where this shines. 6, I think, would be too chaotic for me.
I don't know. I would love it for 6 players.
Yeah, at 6, I think it's where
it's definitely 6.
Because it's the whole having to have all the guesses in order.
Like,
exactly.
I couldn't
from
give this
lowest to high.
I definitely couldn't give this a rating because
you could give it a rating.
I could, but it'll be.
You could just yell a number.
Put a number.
Say a number.
It's 5.
Oh,
it's
God.
okay.
You think it's a 5
for a 3-player game?
But imagine there was two of you, and two of Gabi, and two of me, and we played this.
It's superior to the mind. It's far superior to the mind.
Not your mind. You have a beautiful mind.
There's an actual game here.
I know. It's just
Russell Crowe,
I would like to at least,
Jennifer Connelly,
I want to see how it
Beautiful.
play out.
Paul Bettany.
I want to see how it plays out.
Did you say beautiful?
Beautiful mind.
Clan. What about a clan? That's similar.
Nope.
You don't think so?
We've stopped using clan.
Tribe.
Nope. That's not appropriate either. That's like appropriation ish.
What?
Clan, tribe. I'm I like outfit.
A groupie?
What would you call a group of snobs?
A
Aristocrat?
tuxedo.
A debacle.
A debacle?
A debacle of snobs.
I call them a tuxedo of snobs.
No, that's a uniform.
Makes perfect sense.
No, it doesn't.
We're uniform in our thought as being snobs.
No. A tuxedo is not. That's not a.
That's a good one.
No, it's not.
It's really good. A caviar of snobs.
What? A caviar of fish eggs.
That's going to do it for this episode. Thanks for listening. Join our Patreon. It's in our show notes. Check out Sir Meeple. Buy some merch so that he doesn't kick us off of there.
I want to buy that shirt from Sir Meeple.
And we thank you to all that listen, all that email, all that are in Discord. We have some questions and some jokes in Discord that we will get to at a later podcast that we posed. And David Allen did the Bubba Top 5, in which we were going to review several of our listeners, and we shall do in a future episode.
Oh, I forgot. Yeah.
But we've run out of time for this night. Until next time, I'm Gabi.
Thank you for tolerating this episode of the Board Game Snobs. Stay classy.
I've been just doing things, man.